process in making yarn is to wash. It can wash 10 pounds at a time, and each bin can hold between 3 and 4 pounds depending on the type of fiber. Each bin is numbered 1, 2, and 3, so we guarantee you the fiber that you send is the yarn that you get back. It takes about 4 hours to wash a load, and it's a wash, rinse, rinse. You cannot agitate it, it'll turn to felt. When it comes out of the washer, it either goes to the drying racks to dry to go to the next process, or to the dye vat to be dyed into a particular color for the customer.
These are the drying racks. After it comes out of the washer, we fluff it up and put it on these racks. It takes about 24 to 48 hours to dry.
Once it's done with the drying racks or dyed, and it's completely dry, the next step is to open up the fleece so it goes through the picker. And the picker just takes the fiber and it opens it up. After it goes through the picker, it ends up in the picker room, and there's an exhaust fan at the top, and what it does is it brings it through the picker, it opens up the fleece and lets it lay down in here. We do this for 2 reasons. One, we need to open it up so when we go to the next stage, it can be cleaned with ease. And 2, you're asking alpaca or any type of wool to bend, twist, and turn, but don't break. So we spray it with a water-based conditioner that we wash out at the end. So it'll get sprayed in here, and it'll sit for about 20 minutes to relax it and help with the static, and then it'll move to the next machine. Processing is to dehair it. It's really important to dehair your fiber. You need to get the second cuts, guard hairs, and any vegetation out to make a more consistent yarn. This is actually dog hair that's being dehaired right now. You can see the coarser fibers, and it will actually pull them out. So what comes out of here will be all consistent and all the same size, all in a nice micron range. Go to the other end and look to see what's coming out. This is the other end. This is actually what's coming out, and you can see how nice and clean it is. And consistent vegetation, guard hair, all of that is gone, and this will make beautiful yarn. These are actually the carders. This is where the actual heart of the mill. Without a carder, you can do no fiber processing. We're going to just explain a couple of options with carding. The main purpose is all the drums in the center align the fiber all going the same direction. This particular example, we're making core spun yarn for rubs. This is waste fiber that would normally be thrown away. You can see it going into the machine. Around to the front, you can see the core coming up and around, and the fiber actually wrapping around the core. And it's coming out, wrapped nice and tight around the core into a bump. we're again at the carder. This time we're going to make rovings for hand spinners. So this is a 3-ounce bead, which in most instances make a 23-yard run. So we measure it out. It goes through, again, through the drums, aligning the fiber, all going in the right direction. And because we're doing a bump for hand spinners, it goes on a center cylinder cone, reset, and it wraps around the cone, which also makes a bump, which is a nice center pull bump for hand spinners. Now if we were going to do yarn for a customer, it would not go on there. It would come right down into the barrel, and you would need a multiple of 2 barrels to go to the next machine. This is the draw frame. This is the last machine before it actually goes to spin that's going to fix any inconsistencies in yarn. You can see we're bringing sets of 2 up at a time. It's coming through, and it's actually being stretched into a single strand here to come out again single. It stretches it about 2.5 times, and it goes through this machine twice, again to fix any inconsistencies from the carder to the draw frame. This is really important to know what the ply the customer wants. If it's a 2-ply, we can do it in multiples of 2. If it's a 3-ply, it has to be done in multiples of 3. This is the spinner. This is going to spin a single ply. Depending on how many ply the customer requested, this happens to be a 2-ply, so all 8 spindles are being used. It's going to be loud to turn it on. You can see it's coming in as a roving, and it's being drafted out. For every 1 inch coming in, 7.2 inches is coming out into a single ply yarn. This will be right around a 2-ply sport weight for the customer. Sock yarn right up to chunky. Now we need to ply it. Depending on, again, what the customer wants, 2-ply or 3-ply, depending on how many bobbins we put down at once. This happens to be a 2-ply farm blend, so we're taking 2 bobbins of a single strand, running it down, running it counterclockwise because we spin clockwise, so we're spinning S, plying Z, running it down onto the bobbins. Steps is to get it off the bobbins and onto the cones. So it's coming off the bobbins, up through, and being wound onto cones. We can tell here how many yards are in it. If there's any bad spots, we can splice them out. The next step in finishing up the yarn is to steam it. We have to steam it for two reasons. One, you have to set the twist to alpaca. There's no natural twist to it. Otherwise, when you're knitting, it'll just start unraveling. And two, you want to get the water-based conditioner out that we put in at the picker. So it comes off the cone, up through. This is a hot water chamber here that actually steams it. And then this is a hot air dryer that dries it. It goes through the eye hooks down on the bottom, comes back into here, onto this eye hook, and comes back up and gets wound back onto cones. If the customer requests it to be left on cones, it's done and it's ready for them to go back with the yardage written on the inside of the cone. The last step, if the customer doesn't want it on cones, is to skein it. And we can skein it in yardage. We usually recommend 100, 150, or 200 yards. And it's just a matter of going all the way around. All right, we're at the end now. This is sock yarn for a customer, so it's a large skein. It's actually 450 yards. Pick it up. And voila, there's your finished skein of yarn.